When you're starting street photography, camera settings can feel overwhelming. I used to second guess everything. Aperture, ISO, shutter speed, and it cost me great shots. So today, I'm giving you the simple settings that I wish I knew from the start. But I'll also show you why they matter and how you can use them creatively once you've mastered the basics. And stick around, there's gonna be a bonus tip. Let's get into it. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I love breaking down not just which settings to use, but why they actually matter out on the street. This isn't about chasing perfection. It's about giving yourself the best chance to react, frame, and capture something real on the streets. The real goal of good settings isn't just technical control. It's giving yourself the freedom to notice great light, strong subjects, and fleeting moments without hesitation. For daytime street photography settings, one of the first settings that you want to think about is aperture. I used to think that one aperture was all I needed, but then as I got deeper into street photography, I realized that there was a huge variance of techniques for different kinds of shots that you can capture. So I usually stay somewhere between f4 and f11. Depending on the kind of image that I'm trying to capture. Shooting closer to f8 or f11 can help when you want sharper layers and depth, especially in scenes with elements at different distances. That said, I've also gotten plenty of layered shots around f4.5 or f5.6. It really depends on your distance, lens, and how much sharpness you actually need across the whole frame. You can also use narrow apertures when you're shooting reflections, when you want both the window display and the subject reflected in the window to stay clear. On the other hand, if you want a softer, gentler feel, shooting wider at around f4 or f5.6 can let a little more depth blur into the scene depending upon the camera and lens that you are using, and that's without losing context. Overall, when using aperture, it's not about getting every shot clinically sharp. It's about using aperture to be creative and to match the feeling that you want in your photos. Just a quick one. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And if you want street photography tips sent straight to your inbox, plus exclusive discounts on my presets and my guides, there's a link to my free newsletter in the description below. Also, quick heads up, I've just set up my new Patreon page where you'll get presets, cheat sheets, and other download goodies when you subscribe. Thank you very much. Auto ISO is one of the best tools that can free you up when you're shooting street photography. It's not just about convenience, it's about trusting your exposure safety net so that you can focus more on timing, composition, and movement without constantly fiddling with settings. Instead of worrying about exposure when you move from a sunny street to a much darker or overcast area, you can keep your eyes on how light is hitting your scene or just how a subject is lining up in your frame. If you want to dive deeper into how to work with light on the street, I'll link a video up here now that breaks it all down step by step. When I first started, I used to pick a shutter speed manually, and then I'd scramble to adjust the ISO every time the light changed. It slowed me down and made me miss moments. Now I set the auto ISO range depending upon the conditions, usually 100 to 3200 for daytime street photography. This gives the camera enough flexibility to handle bright and shady areas without dragging you into the menu every 2 minutes. The goal isn't perfect exposure every time, it's staying present in the scene so that you can react when something interesting happens. Auto ISO works in tandem with the minimum shutter speed to protect your shots. It's one thing to let the camera adjust the ISO for you, but you don't want it doing that at the cost of sharpness. For daytime shots, I usually set my minimum shutter speed to 1/250th of a second. I like a minuscule amount of blur in my shots, but you can set your minimum shutter speed to a higher level if you prefer to capture your subjects even more sharply. Just be aware that your camera will aim to keep the shutter speed at or above the minimum, such as 1/250th of a second, but it may start increasing the ISO earlier, even before hitting that minimum, depending upon the light. If you hit a really dark scene and the ISO maxes out, in my case that would be 3200, only then will the shutter speed dip below your set minimum to maintain proper exposure. Experimenting with your shutter speed is always fun and interesting. Plus, it also forces you to think about the energy that you want in your photos. Faster shutter speeds freeze life and create clean, sharp moments. But sometimes you might just want to add a sense of movement like I do. It's not about having one perfect setting for every situation. It's about choosing how you want the photo to feel. Here are a few extra settings that make street photography much easier. For shooting mode, Aperture Priority is a great option for daytime work. It lets you control the depth of field, while the camera handles the shutter speed and the ISO inside the limits that you set, helping you react faster without second guessing the exposure. For white balance, auto works well in street photography. Modern day cameras handle it reliably, and if it's slightly off, it's easy to adjust later in post-processing. For metering mode, multi or evaluative is a good default. It reads the whole scene and helps you avoid surprises when light changes quickly. Focus mode really does depend on your camera. You've got single shot, continuous modes, tracking modes, face detection, whatever works for you. It took me a lot of trial and error to find the right focus mode on my cameras. I use auto area autofocus in the center mode on my Ricoh cameras, which gets me in the ballpark for decent shots on every shoot. But if you want to shoot even faster, you could try something like zone focusing, usually done with manual lenses, or snap focus on Ricoh cameras, where you preset a distance and shoot instantly without waiting for autofocus. It works best with narrow apertures, since more of the scene around your focus point will stay sharp. Even with all of these settings that I've talked about dialed in, the camera can still sometimes get fooled by tricky lighting. So always keep an eye on your highlights and use exposure compensation if you quickly need to dial back the brightness and protect important details. I didn't really use exposure compensation much when I first started out. And looking back, I realised I wasted a lot of photos and time by not using the right tools for the job. It's a simple habit that makes a huge difference once you get used to checking it. All these settings aren't about chasing technical perfection. They're about building a setup that helps you react and capture moments naturally and easily. Once you've got your settings sorted, the real secret is being ready to notice what's happening around you. Street photography moves fast. Light changes, people move, moments appear and they vanish in seconds. The best settings in the world won't help if you're not paying attention. So as you're walking, and even when you haven't got a camera with you, Keep scanning for interesting light, strong subjects, and possible stories unfolding. Get into the habit of spotting a moment before you lift the camera. That's when the magic happens. Quick question before you go. What's more important to you when you're out shooting? Depth of field when capturing your subjects, or are you more into capturing fast action with shutter speed? That's something I'd love to know, and I'm sure the community would. So please let us know down below. And if you want to get a little bit more nerdier with your street shots, I'll link a video here that shows you how to use triangles in your composition to build more energy and flow in your street shots. Until we meet again, go forth and create.